So generally what I like to do, if you've got a lot of potholes, you can kind of see one like right in there. We've had a lot of potholes that are formed up and down through here. And you know, ideally what you would want is a crown on your road so that the water and snow can drain off. But if you've got a really long gravel road like this, it can cost an absolute fortune to put a crown on it, because you would just have to bring in tons of extra, you know, crushed stone, gravel, whatever, and then you'd have to have special equipment to put that grade on there. So sometimes it's just not practical to do it. So I've got the teeth on the bucket, or the not the bucket, the box blade, set down just below the straight blade, so the teeth will kind of rip in there a little bit and kind of churn the soil back up. Of course, everything is just really muddy and nasty right now because you know, all the snow that we had is melted down into the ground and it's made a big muddy mess. But that's another reason I'm doing this. I'm trying to churn it all up so the sunshine can dry it out. And then after it dries out, I can come back and move the scarifier teeth up and just use the straight blade. And it'll smooth it out and put a nice finish on it. You know, it doesn't last very long, but it might get us, you know, a month or two of use, and I'll have to come out and do it again. But that's just part of it when you got a big long gravel road like this. Now, what I've noticed about this tractor is that it'll do a pretty good job in low range. In medium range, it'll pull at full throttle unless that box gets completely loaded up with material. Once that box blade gets loaded up with material, it starts to bog down even in medium range. So now that I'm working this tractor out in you know, out in the field, out on the roads, I'm actually working it, putting it through its paces. I'm starting to realize that I should have bought more horsepower. 25 horse is like the bare minimum that you want on a tractor this size, and it will get the job done, but you have to go really slow, and I don't always want to go really slow. So I'm thinking now that I probably, you know, love this tractor and I love this size of tractor. I love the features of this tractor. I just really love this tractor, but I wish I had gone with like the 35 or the 40 horse engine. Just suck it up, deal with the emissions equipment, and get the power that you need. That's what I'm learning the hard way. So I may have to go talk to the dealer tomorrow and see, you know, I've got 6 hours on here now, so I've probably lost a little bit of value, but before it racks up any more, you know, I'm gonna grade this out, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna go talk to the dealer and see how bad it would hurt to go ahead and trade up to something with some more power. We'll see, but right now I gotta get this done before the sun goes down so this can dry out. Be back later. Yeah, so you can see how the teeth are just kind of getting down in there and digging the driveway up, kind of churning some of that crushed stone back up to the top because it seems to get trampled down and then the mud comes back up. So got to put these teeth down and churn that up and then raise them back up to give it a finish grade, you know, when I'm done. But I mean, it does a pretty good job if you just take your time on it and do it this way. It works out pretty good, and once this dries out it won't look as muddy and nasty now that I'm getting some rock back up here. But these box blades, man, I'm telling you, it's a trial and error process. I mean, when you first get one, you got to play with it for a while and figure out, you know, how to set your top link and how far to put your teeth down and how much pressure you want to keep up off the ground. You don't always want to just drop the three-point hitch all the way down. Sometimes you just want to drop it lightly, let it scrape a little bit, and then kind of finesse it. You know, it takes some practice and some trial and error, and I'm still not great at it myself, but I'm starting to figure it out a little bit, though. I'll tell you one thing I'd really like to have is a land plane. I'm gonna have to try one of those things one of these days, but they're so dadgone expensive. Okay, so here's basically what's going on. This tractor, I absolutely love it. The size of the tractor is perfect for my needs. The features and the design and the way this tractor is built so heavy, I love it. You know, it's got, you saw the other video that I posted where I went through the features that drew me to this tractor. I love the features of the tractor. Super happy with the tractor itself. But I have realized now that 25 horsepower is just not quite going to get the job done. Now, if you're just doing loader work or whatever, it's fine. But, you know, I live in some hilly terrain out here in the country, and, you know, I pull a box blade with the teeth digging into the compacted gravel road sometimes, and in the future I want to run like a 6-foot mower, and you know, I'm starting to realize that 25 horsepower and 17 horsepower at the PTO is just not going to get the job done. I mean, this is a 4,000-pound machine as it sits here, and it's just not going to work for me. So I'm a bonehead. I should have done, what I should have done is a demo. I should have asked my dealer if he'd let me demo the tractor, bring it over here, try it out, and just see. Should have done more research. This is all on me. I screwed up. Love the tractor, just need more power. So I thought, well, the best thing to do is to go immediately back to the dealer where I got this one, and they'll help me out. They'll help me trade on up. I want the same tractor, I just want more horsepower. Turns out that's not how it works. So as soon as you drive off the lot, it's a used tractor. Doesn't matter if it has 1 hour on the odometer, it's a used tractor. And I guess that's because once it's purchased, the warranty begins. So if you trade this tractor right here back into the dealership, and if it sits there for 9 months or a year before they sell it, then the person who buys it is losing a year of the bumper-to-bumper warranty. You know, and so they take a little bit of a hit on it. So long story short, I'm going to take a little bit of a hit here if I trade this in, but I really need more horsepower. It doesn't do me any good to have a tractor that, you know, I'm not going to be able to use for what I wanted to use for, you know, what I want to use it for. In low range, it's fine. I mean, you can putt around 2 or 3 miles an hour in low range and this thing will pull a house. I mean, it's fine, but medium range is where I really like to work, and you can tell the tractor's just struggling, especially when you got a box blade full of material going up a hill, you know. So anyway, my dealer, you know, they're not really wanting to, I mean, I should rephrase that. They're offering to help me out, but I'm going to take a hit on it. They're not offering me any more to turn this back in and get the next one up than any other dealer would offer me for it. So basically, I'm right back to square one again. I'm shopping tractors all over again. So, I mean, I've looked at like the Coyotes and the Mahindras again, and I just went through the whole rigmarole like I was 3 weeks ago. And I'm back to John Deere and New Holland again, because at the end of the day, you know, I've got dealers that are close, parts, service. In the future, you know, I'm more confident, you know, that I'll be able to get that from those two brands. I really like the features that are on the New Holland. They've got so much more tractor for the money than John Deere, but John Deere does have some nice tractors if you have the money to go on up to the R series. So anyway, that's what's going on. Love this tractor, love it to death, but I just need more power. I'm gonna have to just suck it up and deal with the emissions crap, which is the reason why I got 25 horse to begin with, is because I wanted to avoid all that emissions stuff, you know, because again, I'm thinking long term here. I want to keep this tractor forever. So I just had it in my head, and it's true that at 25 horse with no emissions equipment on it is gonna last forever. And it's gonna be real easy to keep going forever, because there's no DPF, no EGR, no electronic fuel injection, all that crap. It's just mechanical, easy to work on, it'll last forever. But again, if it doesn't have the power to get the job done, it doesn't really matter. So live and learn, right? Live and learn. So as beautiful as this tractor is, it might be finding a new home this weekend. Now, the Workmaster 25 is a really cool tractor because it's kind of got that old school look. You've probably noticed that if you go to the Workmaster 35 or the 40, either one, they have that really curvy sloped hood, a little bit different design there. And the steering wheel is a tilt wheel instead of fixed like this one. And the dash display is much, much nicer. It's got this fancy color display instead of these basic garden tractor looking gauges here. Other than that, I haven't really noticed a whole lot of difference. My dealer let me test a 40. He's got a Workmaster 40 right there on the lot. And across the lot, they've got a great big amount of acreage over there where they park all the big ag tractors, and it happens to be on a hillside. So they let me take the Workmaster 40, cross the road over to the hillside and try it out. And sure enough, you can really and immediately tell the difference. The 40 horse has enough grunt that you can use high range. You know, it's a hydrostatic transmission also. You can put it in high range. You can not only stop on a hillside, you can take off on a hillside, you can accelerate up the hillside. I mean, you can tell the 40 just has way more pulling power. So all 3 gear ranges would be usable on the 40 horse, whereas here, I don't feel like they are. So massive difference there. But the tractor itself is pretty much the same as this, other than those couple of different things I just talked about. So, you know, the Workmaster 40 would be a great option. If I'm gonna get a John Deere, I'm probably gonna have to go with the R series, something like a 3033 or a 3039R, something in that ballpark, to get the features that this tractor has on its standard. And it looks like it's going to be a little more money if I do that. The 3033R, they're quoting me about 24 on it. The 3039 goes up to 27, so it's 3,000 more bucks to get a little bit more horsepower. But I don't know. I mean, I just have to think about it and decide, because, you know, it's one of those things you just don't really know. I mean, there's no way to know which tractor is going to be the most dependable long term or anything like that. Resale value doesn't really come into effect, because once I find what I want that's going to work for me, I'm going to keep it forever. So I don't really care about resale. But anyway, that's what's going on. I just got to figure out what to do here and get this done, because we have some winter storms coming again next week, and I'm going to need this thing. So I got to figure out what to do and do something. I've been trying to keep it parked in here and keep the hours off of it until I figure out what I'm going to do. So I got to get that figured out, because we're going to need this thing next week when the ice and the snow comes back. So here's what I'd like to hear from you guys. If you have a John Deere 3033R, especially if it's a hydro transmission, but either one, 3033R. If you've got one of those, and if you mow with it or run a tiller or cultivator or plow, or, you know, if you really work one of those tractors, post a comment below and let me know how it does. I'm curious to know, because I think that one is rated at like 25 or 26 PTO horsepower, about 32 engine horsepower. So it's kind of on that ragged edge of you know, it's the minimum that I would want to go. So I'm just kind of curious, if you've got one of those, how does it handle? How does it perform? How does it handle the work? You know, let me know below if you don't mind. I appreciate it. But anyhow, that's all I got for now. This weekend, go check out some more things, and we'll just see how it shakes out. You guys have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later.